It left Cardi literally in tears. It left Cardi literally in tears on camera. This isn't gossip. This isn't petty celebrity drama. This is a life-changing confession that forced the world to stop scrolling and pay attention. Because for the first time ever, Stefon Diggs' mother broke her silence, and what she revealed wasn't just emotional. It was devastating. According to insiders who were in the room, Stefon's mother didn't raise her voice. She didn't lash out. She didn't blame anyone. She simply looked at Cardi B, trembling, crying and confused, and told her something no woman ever wants to hear. I can't be a mother again, because of what happened. That sentence alone shook Cardi to her core. Her hands started shaking, her voice cracked, and she kept asking, "What do you mean? What happened? Why didn't anyone tell me?" But Stefon's mother wasn't done. She went deeper. She went darker. She opened a part of her past she had never spoken about publicly. Not to the media, not to fans, not even to people close to the family. And what she revealed next didn't just explain the tension between Cardi and the Diggs family. It, snorts, exposed the real reason Stefon has been acting distant. The real reason Card's emotional breakdowns have resurfaced. And the real reason Stefon's mother felt she had to step in before things got worse. Because according to sources, this secret, this deeply personal truth, isn't just about her. It's about Cardi B herself, and the part that has everyone online panicking. Fans claim they heard Stefon's mother whisper something off camera, something that changes the entire meaning of her confession. This is why he didn't tell you the whole story. So now the internet is asking, what did Stefon hide? Why is his mother speaking now? And what does this mean for Card's future? This is just the beginning. And before the world saw Cardi B sitting there with tears streaming down her face, before Stefon Diggs' mother revealed a truth so painful it left the room frozen, before fans started panicking, speculating and connecting dots Cardi never wanted connected, this story was already unraveling quietly behind closed doors, far away from cameras, music studios, and NFL stadiums. Even because what happened wasn't sudden. It wasn't random. It wasn't a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. This reveal, the one that broke Cardi, has roots so deep and emotional that even people close to the family say they didn't see it coming. To understand why this moment was so intense, you need to understand the tension that has been building between Cardi B and Stefon Diggs' mother for months. At Music First, everything seemed perfect. Cardi and Stefon were getting closer, and fans shipped them. They appeared music happy, and they looked like a powerful couple slowly becoming the most talked about pairing in entertainment and sports. Stefon was charming. Cardi felt safe. They communicated constantly, music, and for the first time in a long time, Cardi felt like she could breathe emotionally, like she had finally found someone who wasn't dragging her through controversy. But behind the scenes, Stefon's mother had concerns. Not because she disliked Cardi, not because she wanted someone else for her son, not because of fame, money, or lifestyle differences. Her concerns came from something deeper, something she had been carrying for years, something privately painful and directly connected to her own past. At first, she stayed quiet. Stefon told her not to worry. Cardi didn't know anything was wrong, but slowly tiny signs appeared. Stefon's mother becoming distant, avoiding certain conversations, nervously changing the subject when family planning came up, leaving the room whenever babies were mentioned, tightening her jaw whenever Cardi joked about wanting a little mini-me someday. Cardi thought she had done something wrong. She blamed herself. She tried harder. She asked Stefon if his mother didn't like her. He always reassured her, "Ma loves you, she's just dealing with stuff." But Cardi sensed something bigger. And then, 2 weeks before the emotional reveal, Cardi confronted him, and he promised. Cardi confronted him, and he promised, "It's nothing about you." I swear he wasn't lying, but he wasn't telling the truth either because something was happening behind the scenes. Something Stefon and his mother both knew. Something connected to a traumatic chapter of her life. Something she had tried to bury but could no longer ignore now that Cardi was getting close to the family. And that's when the breaking point came. A private dinner. Just Cardi and Stefon's mother, arranged by Stefon himself. He told them, "You two need to talk. I think music. It's time." Cardi walked into that room expecting maybe a misunderstanding, maybe an awkward conversation, maybe a heart-to-heart about love, trust, or future family plans. She did not expect what came next. A pain. They sat at the table for the first pain. They sat at the table for the first time. Stefon's mother held Cardi's hands, her voice shaking, and she said, "I need music you to understand something before you get too deep into this family." Cardi nodded, confused but concerned. Then came the sentence that changed everything. Kishi asked, "What happened? Why are you?" She asked, "What happened? Why are you saying this? Why didn't anyone tell me?" But Stefon's mother looked away. Because revisiting this memory was physically hurting her. Snorts. And here's the part nobody outside that room knew until now. Years ago, before Stefon became a star athlete, before Cardi became a global icon, before anyone even imagined their paths would cross, Stefon's mother went through a traumatic medical crisis that nearly took her life. Doctors told her she would never be able to carry a child again. Not safely. Not without risking her own life. The experience scarred her deeply, emotionally, physically, psychologically. She loved her children desperately, but secretly grieved that she would never experience motherhood again. And as Cardi sat there crying, Stefon's mother revealed one more layer, a layer even Stefon rarely discussed publicly. When Stefon was born, the doctor told me I should never try again. But later, someone convinced me too. She paused. That decision almost killed me, Cardi, music gasped, covering her mouth. Stefon's mother continued, "I see how you love my son. I see how he loves you. But before this gets serious, you need to know why I freeze when I hear you talk about babies." Cardi broke down completely. Heart shook Cardi the most. Just as Stefon's shook Cardi the most. Just as Stefon's mother reached to wipe Card's tears, she whispered something off camera. Something the microphone barely picked up, but insiders confirmed. "This is also why Stefon hid the truth from you." Card's head shot up. What truth? What did he hide? But before Stefon's mother could answer, before she could explain the rest, before Cardi could fully grasp the weight of what she just heard, a phone rang. Stefon's mother looked at the caller ID and instantly went pale. "It's Stefon," she said quietly. She answered the phone. What he said on the other end made her drop the phone on the table. Cardi grabbed her arm. "What did he say? What happened?" Stefon's mother whispered. He said, "Someone from his past. Someone who knows about what happened to me. Or is threatening to expose everything." Cardi froze because this wasn't just a personal confession anymore. This was the beginning of something much bigger, something dangerous, something emotional, something life-changing. And this is only the background. Cardi B didn't even realize she was holding her breath. The room felt like it shrank into a tiny box the moment Stefon's mother dropped the phone. Cardi stared at her, frozen, wide-eyed, trembling, waiting for her to say something, anything. "Me. He told me someone is coming forward." "Me. He told me someone is coming forward." Cardi felt her entire chest tighten. Coming forward with what? What do they want? Who is it? But Stefon's mother still wasn't answering. Her eyes were glued to the screen, replaying whatever she had just heard, as if her mind were breaking in slow motion. Cardi grabbed the phone off the table and tried calling Stefon back. "Hi," she whispered. "The person calling him." "Hi," she whispered. "The person calling him, the one threatening to expose everything, is the same person who convinced me to try again when the doctors told me not to." Cardi felt her stomach drop. "What do you mean, convinced you? Why would someone do that?" Stefon's mother shut her eyes, forcing down a wave of emotion because they wanted something from me. Something I didn't understand until it was too late. Her voice cracked. And now they're using my past to threaten Stefon. Cardi grabbed her hand. Wait, so this person manipulated you, pushed you into a pregnancy that almost killed you, and now they're blackmailing your son with it? Stefan's mother nodded slowly. That's why he didn't want you to know. He was trying to protect you from this person. He wanted you far away from this mess. Cardi sat back, shaking. Her mind was racing. Confusion mixing with fear. Fear mixing with anger. Why didn't Stefon just tell me? Why didn't you tell me? I feel like I'm walking into a whole story I don't even know I'm part of. But the first twist hadn't even landed yet. Because just as Cardi was trying to piece everything together, Stefon's mother finally revealed the part that changed everything. The person threatening us. They were once very close to Stefon. Cardi blinked. What do you mean by close? Stefon's mother swallowed hard. They helped raise him. A chill ran down Cardi's spine. No. No way. Are you saying it's a family member? Stefon's mother didn't answer directly, but the look in her eyes told Cardi everything she needed to know. This wasn't a stranger. This wasn't a random ex. This wasn't a fan or a troll. This was someone from inside the Diggs family circle, someone who had access, influence, history, and motives that went much deeper than Cardi realized. But that wasn't the only bomb dropping tonight because, at the same moment, Cardi and Stefon's mother were unraveling the truth. Stefon himself was in the middle of a confrontation of his own. He had gone to meet the person threatening him. The one demanding money, silence, and control in exchange for keeping Stefon's mother's medical trauma hidden. According to sources, the meeting got heated fast. Voices raised, chairs slammed. At one point, Stefon yelled, "You put my mother's life at risk. And you think I'm going to let you use her again?" But the person confronting him wasn't scared. They were calm. Almost too calm. They simply said, "If the world finds out what really happened back then, your whole family goes down. And Cardi, she won't stay with you once she knows you've been hiding this." That is what broke Stefon, because he wasn't worried about his image. He wasn't worried about headlines. He wasn't even worried about the blackmail. He was worried about losing Cardi. And meanwhile, back in the private room, Cardi was trying to steady her breathing. But something deeper was bothering her, something Stefon's mother said earlier. "This is also why Stefon hid the truth from you." Cardi kept replaying that sentence in her head like a broken loop. What truth? What else is there? What aren't they telling me? Stefon's mother finally sat down, wiping her tears. "There's something Stefon didn't want you to know yet," she whispered. "He was waiting for the right moment. But now that this person is threatening him, he's afraid you'll find out from them instead of from him." Cardi leaned forward. "Find out what?" Stefon's mother hesitated. Stefan's last relationship didn't end because of cheating. It ended because someone used my medical trauma to scare her away. Cardi froze. That was the twist she didn't see coming. "You mean someone weaponized your pain to ruin his love life?" Stefon's mother nodded slowly. "It happened before and now they're trying to do it again with you." Cardi covered her face. She finally understood why Stefon had been acting distant, why he avoided the topic of children, why he panicked when she mentioned being a mum again someday. Why did his mother tense up every time Cardi joked about family expansion? Because the trauma wasn't just hers. It was Stefon's too. But the shock was still coming. Because while Cardi was processing all of this, music Stefon burst into the room. Sweat on his forehead, phone in his hand, eyes wide with panic. He looked at his mother. "We have a problem." Cardi stood up. "What happened? Who was it? What did they say?" Stefon swallowed hard. "They didn't just threaten to expose what happened to my mum. They have proof. Medical papers, photos, messages from years ago, stuff even I didn't know existed." His mother gasped. No, I thought I destroyed everything." Stefon shook his head. "They kept copies, and they kept everything." But then came the real twist. The one that broke Card's heart, Stefon added. And they said, if I don't do exactly what they want, they're sending everything to you first. Cardi went pale. To me? Why me? Stefon grabbed her hands. Because they know you'll leave if you see it. Cardi stepped back. Leave you? Why would I ever? But Stefon cut her off. You don't understand. You don't know the full story. It wasn't just my mom they hurt. He looked away. It was me too. Card's voice cracked. What did they do to you? Stefon didn't answer because just then, as if the universe timed it perfectly, all three of their phones buzzed at the same time. A message from the same unknown number, and the message said, "The truth drops tonight." Card's breath hitched. What truth? What truth? But the final twist landed hard. As Stefon replayed the audio message attached to the text, Cardi heard something that made every hair on her body stand up. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't blackmail. And in a way she never expected. The voice in a way she never expected. The voice said, Cardi, we finally meet again. Cardi dropped the phone because she knew exactly who it was. Music. And the truth about why this person is coming forward is darker than anything Stefon or Cardi prepared for. Cardi B couldn't breathe, not because the room was hot, not because the tension was suffocating, but because the voice in that audio message, the one saying, Cardi, we finally meet again, was a voice she thought she had escaped years ago. Her hands shook so violently the phone nearly slipped from her fingers. Stefon grabbed it before it hit the floor, but even he could see the terror in her eyes. Stefon's mother looked between them, confused. Cardi, baby, who is that? Why do you look like you saw a ghost? Cardi didn't answer. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her eyes were locked on the wall, replaying a memory she never wanted to revisit, a memory she thought was gone. Stefon touched her shoulder gently. Babe, you know this person? How? Cardi swallowed hard, forcing the words out. That voice. It's the same person that tried to ruin my life back when I was first blowing up. The same person that stalked my team. Ah, the same person that claimed they had info to end my career if I didn't do what they wanted. Stefon froze. I person? Stefon's mother leaned back. Person? Stefon's mother leaned back, covering her mouth as the truth hit her. This person targeted all of us. But the story was only getting darker. Stefon replayed the audio again, and this time put it on speaker. The voice was smooth, confident, and almost mocking. Cardi and Stefon, your little worlds are finally colliding. I tried to warn you both years ago, but since neither of you listened, I guess I'll have to show you the truth. Stefon clenched his jaw. What truth? What do you want? The voice chuckled. You'll see tonight. I'm done waiting. The message ended. For a moment, nobody spoke. The silence was heavy, thick, and unelectric, the kind of silence that only comes before a tornado touches down. Then Stefon's mother whispered, I know who it is. Cardi turned sharply. You do? How? Stefon's mother wiped her eyes. Because that's the same person who convinced me to try another pregnancy. The one that nearly killed me. The one who promised they'd help me if I ever needed anything, only to use it against me years later. Stefon stepped back like he had been punched. Why didn't you tell me it was them? Why didn't you say anything? She shook her head, trembling. Because I was scared. Because they said if I ever spoke their name, they would expose everything. There are things you don't remember, and thousands of Asians, There are things you don't remember and things I tried to protect you from. But Cardi wasn't thinking about Stefon now. She was wrestling with her past, trying to understand how this monster, this manipulator, found his way into both their lives. She whispered. When I heard that voice again, I felt like I was 23 all over. I terrified my whole future was about to explode. Stefon took her hands. You're safe now, you're with me. But even he didn't believe his own words. Because the person behind these threats wasn't just dangerous. They were strategic, calculated, and patient. Someone who waited years for the perfect moment. And the perfect moment was right now. Suddenly, Card's phone buzzed again. A new message, no text, just a video. Cardi hesitated. Stefon whispered, "Play it." She pressed the screen. The video opened with static, then a dimly lit room. And then, the shock of the century. A figure stepped into frame, face hidden but posture confident, holding two folders. One was labelled Cardi, the other labelled Stefon. Then the voice spoke. I've been collecting secrets for a long time, and tonight the world learns why you two should have never crossed paths. Cardi gasped. This is about us. The figure tapped the folders. You both have pieces of a story you were never supposed to be part of. But the truth that ties you together, that's what ends everything. The video then panned to a third folder, thicker, older, and damaged at the edges, labelled the original incident. Stefon's mother screamed. No, he didn't. He didn't keep that. Stefon turned to her. What incident, Mom? What incident? She covered her face. I thought it was over. I thought he forgot. I thought... But the video continued, the figure said. Tonight at midnight, I release all 3 files. Then he leaned close to the camera. And Cardi, before you panic, no, this isn't about your past scandals. It's something much closer to your heart. Card's eyes filled with tears again. What does he mean? The video cut to black. Then a single message appeared on the screen. The thing you both fear most is the same thing. Cardi dropped the phone. What do we fear most? What is he talking about? Stefon swallowed hard, eye losing each other. But Stefon's mother shook her head violently. No, he's not talking about love. He's talking about blood. Cardi froze. Blood? Stefon stared at her, confused. What does he mean, blood? Stefon's mother took a shaking breath. I never wanted to tell you this. I never wanted to open this wound again, but if he's releasing the file, you need to know. She looked at Cardi, then at Stefon, music, then back at Cardi. Her voice cracked. You two are connected by something neither of you knew existed. Card's entire body stiffened. What are you saying? And then before she could answer, all their phones buzzed again. This time, millions of phones buzzed at once. Across social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, a single post went live. The files drop at midnight. The truth ties them together forever. Cardi covered her mouth. Stefon grabbed her arm. His mother whispered, It's too late. He's going to expose everything. And the moment the clock strikes midnight, their pasts collide, their futures collapse, and a secret involving blood, betrayal, and a connection none of them ever expected will finally surface. Midnight was approaching like a countdown to disaster. Cardi sat frozen on the couch, Stefon pacing back and forth, his mother gripping the armrest so tightly her knuckles turned white. Nobody was speaking because every time someone tried, they stopped themselves, terrified of what the next word might mean. The man threatening them had 3 folders. Cardi, Stefon, music, the original incident. And the moment the clock struck 12, all 3 were scheduled to drop online. Cardi kept whispering to herself, what blood? What connection? What is he talking about? Stefon was just as lost, but his eyes kept darting to his mother, the one person who seemed to know more than she was saying. Finally, Stefon grabbed a chair and sat directly in front of her. No more secrets. If that man is going to expose everything tonight, I want to hear it from you first. Cardi nodded. Please. We can't walk into this blind. Just tell us. Stefon's mother trembled. She wiped her eyes, took a shaky breath and whispered. It started before either of you was born. Card's heart dropped. Stefon leaned in. What started? Stefon's mother looked at Cardi, not with anger, not with fear, but with a kind of sorrow Cardi didn't understand. Cardi, do you know who helped deliver you when you were born? Cardi blinked. What? Why would I know that? I never met them. Stefon's mother cut her off gently. You did meet them. Cardi froze. What do you mean? Stefon's mother's voice broke. The doctor who delivered you, the one who brought you into this world, Music was the same doctor who almost took me out of this world. Card's mouth fell open. No, that's not possible. But Stefon's mother nodded. He was the one who convinced me to try to have another child. He was the one who pressured me. He was the one who said he'd take care of everything. He put my life at risk. He lied to me. He manipulated me. She swallowed hard. And that same doctor later helped deliver you. Cardi felt her entire chest collapse. Stefon whispered, Mum, are you saying the person threatening us is that doctor? She nodded. His name changed, his face aged, his career shifted, but his methods never changed. When Cardi got famous, he saw an opportunity. When you became a star, he saw another opportunity. And when your lives crossed, his plan accelerated. Card's voice cracked. Music. But why target us? Why come for me and Stefon after all these years? Stefon's mother looked down because of the original incident. Card's breath stopped. Stefon looked sick. What happened? What was the incident? Stefon's mother finally said the words she had been holding in for decades. He experimented on me. Cardi gasped. Stefon jolted forward. What do you mean experimented? She broke down, crying. He lied about the procedure. He tested a new medical technique on me without my consent. It was dangerous and illegal, and it nearly killed me. Music. I wasn't the only woman he did it to, but I was the one who survived long enough to talk. Cardi covered her mouth with both hands. Stefon was shaking with rage. Why didn't you report him? Why didn't you tell anyone? She sobbed harder. Because he blackmailed me. He said if I ever told, he would expose all my medical records and he would ruin your life before it even started. Stefon sat back, stunned. But that doesn't explain Cardi. Why is he after her, too? Stefon's mother looked directly at Cardi. Because the experimental technique he used on me was the same one he later used when delivering you. Cardi felt her heart stop. No, that's not possible. But Stefon's mother continued, voice shaking. Cardi, the reason you have certain health issues, the reason your body reacts the way it does, the reason you've always said pregnancy was terrifying to you. Cardi whispered, You think he did something to me? Panicked. Because if the truth ever came panicked, because if the truth ever came out, he'd go to prison forever. Cardi collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. Stefon grabbed her, holding her tightly. This is why he's threatening us, Stefon whispered. This is why he has files. This is why he keeps referencing blood. Cardi shook violently. But why now? Why is he dropping everything now? Stefon's mother looked up, tears streaming. Because his license is being reviewed, someone reported him anonymously. He thinks it was me, Music, or you or Stefon. Stefon clenched his fists. So, he's trying to destroy us before we expose him. But it wasn't over. At that exact moment, 11:59 p.m., all their phones buzzed at the same time. A countdown appeared. 00001 until truth is released. Cardi screamed, No, we're not ready. Don't let him do this, let him. Stefon grabbed his laptop. Maybe we can stop it. But the screen changed abruptly. A live stream opened. The doctor, the man who manipulated, lied. I experimented, stood in the shadows holding the 3 folders. Cardi shook her head violently. Please don't, Stefon whispered. I swear I'll find him. I'll end this. The man opened the Cardi folder first. Cardi screamed, No, Music, no, don't. Then he reached for the Stefon folder. Stefon lunged toward the screen as if he could stop it. Stop now. Then the man placed both folders aside and lifted the third, the original incident. He tapped it twice. This is the one that ends everything. Cardi cried harder. Stefon's mother collapsed into her chair. The man said, "At midnight, the world learns the truth." The clock hit 12 a.m. He began to open the folder and the live stream cut to black. A single message appeared. The file failed to upload, retrying in 24 hours. Cardi gasped for air. Stefon punched the wall. Stefon's mother whispered, "We have one day, one chance to stop him." And just like that, the entire world now knows something catastrophic is coming. But nobody knows the full truth. Not yet. And that's where everything stands right now. A corrupted file that failed to upload. A ticking 24-hour countdown. A doctor with decades of secrets. A mother reliving the darkest moment of her life. Stefon trying to protect the woman he loves. And Cardi B shaking, crying. I terrified. I realizing she may have been connected to this nightmare since the day she was born. This isn't just drama anymore. This isn't gossip. This isn't a storyline. This is a war over truth. A truth that could reshape Card's entire identity. A truth that could destroy Stefon's family forever. A truth that could send a man to prison for the rest of his music life. And the wildest part, the doctor isn't done. The files are coming. He promised the truth will drop in 24 hours. And the world is already preparing for impact. But before that truth explodes, before the next episode becomes the biggest reveal of their lives, you need to weigh in. Because right now, the comments section is the only place where the world can piece this mystery together. Do you believe Cardi and Stefon were both victims of the same man? Do you think the original incident holds even darker secrets than what we heard? Do you think the doctor is bluffing, or is he about to unleash something catastrophic? And the biggest question of all, if the truth comes out, does Cardi stay with Stefon, or does this tear them apart forever? I need you to drop your theories, all of them. Tell me what you think is in those folders. Who you think reported the doctor, why he waited until now to strike, and how you think Cardi and Stefon can survive this storm. You make sure you smash the like button so the algorithm pushes this investigation further. Hit subscribe because the next update is going to be the most shocking twist yet. Turn on notifications because when those files finally drop, you'll want to be the first to know. This story isn't ending. It's just beginning.